welcome to your beautiful Saturday afternoon, evening, and I hope you guys are having a great Memorial Day weekend and the weather is peachy for you. But let's talk about that Memorial Day weather forecast as we have made it through Saturday, but we have been seeing some severe weather through the high plains near Colorado, Wyoming, as well as in Montana, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. So we are seeing a stripe of severe weather across the high plains, and which is my favorite types of thunderstorms, is those elevated thunderstorms across the plains with low precipitation. The clouds are pretty high up, so tornadoes are very visible. This is when you typically see rope tornadoes or stovepipe, maybe some cone tornadoes. Not typical to see wedge tornadoes with these types of thunderstorms. They also are capable of producing some large hail, but generally produce low amounts of precipitation. So we're not seeing any flash flooding with the severe weather across the high plains, but we are seeing some photogenic thunderstorms. So very beautiful cloud formations. You really can see what's going on in the atmosphere with these elevated thunderstorms. So let's talk about that pattern that we are seeing this weekend. And we are looking at that severe weather across the plains. As you can see here, from the Canadian border down into northern Mexico, we will see those thunderstorms this weekend and into your holiday Monday. Now, mind you, this is not a washout by any stretch of the imagination. So remember what I said, that these storms are generally low precipitation producers. Any heavy rain will be short-lived, so these are not typically heavy rain producers, so we're not worrying about flash flooding. If there is a possibility of flash flooding, it's going to be from runoff in the higher elevation of the mountains down to the lower elevations and through the valleys and passes of the Rockies. So if you're out toward the northern Rockies, through Idaho, parts of Utah, as well as through the Great Basin of Nevada, maybe even to northern California and up into Montana, we could see some possible flash flooding from some thunderstorms. But generally, these storms are not producing high amounts of precipitation. So we're also are seeing a lot of dry lightning as well. So we could see fires through some of the forests as well as the result of dry lightning from some of those thunderstorms. And dust devils are also possible. We could see some windstorms as well blowing across the high plains. So haboobs are also going to be a possibility with some of this severe weather, as we are dealing with relatively dry levels in the low levels of the atmosphere down near the surface. So we could see those windstorms pick up as well this weekend. And here is what we're going to be seeing for tomorrow is that high pressure across into next week. So I'm sorry. But let's go back to Saturday, because we didn't talk about the Midwest weather. And if you're across the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest, absolutely beautiful weather, temperatures in the 70s and 80s. There might be a 90-degree temperature sneaking in here down towards the southern plains. So beautiful weather across the Ozarks and into Louisiana, but very wet weather across the southeast. So we have that sort of semi-tropical fetch system across the southeastern U.S. this weekend, and that's going to be producing lots of rainfall across the southeast and along this in the state of Florida as well. But we are not looking at record rainfall amounts, but a pretty wet weekend is in store if you're in the Carolinas, primarily, and East Georgia, which is where we're going to be seeing that rainfall this weekend. And as we head into your upcoming work week, next week, we're going to see all of that dry out. Beautiful weather across the Northeast and the Great Lakes, abnormally dry for this time of the year, and across the northern plains and the high plains of the Dakotas and Minnesota, where we can see some temperatures in the 90s. So it's going to be unseasonably warm across the north, and we're going to still see some of that tropical moisture coming up off of the Gulf of Mexico, and that is going to spread the potential for those thunderstorms again across the high plains and over into the eastern Rockies, so we could be seeing again some of those dry thunderstorms and that severe weather as well. So we're going to be seeing those typical high plains storms kind of early in the year for those storms. We typically don't see a lot of that action until we get into July and August, but it's late May, early June, and we're already seeing those high plain storms. But we are going to be seeing those thunderstorms extend all the way over into the northern Rockies, into the Pacific Northwest. And here we are as we talk about that beautiful weather we're going to be seeing next week across the Great Lakes in the Northeast. So your Sunday is going to be seeing warmer weather, temperatures in the 80s. Beautiful day across the Northeast. But as you can see down to the south here of Carolinas and Virginia, some of that tropical moisture and that rainfall along the mid-Atlantic and the Southeast. Here is more of that tropical moisture along that storm system, right along the coastal sections there. And we're going to have very windy and breezy conditions, as we could see some problems with rip currents along the coastal section and into the Chesapeake Bay. So if you have boating interests, you want to be careful, and if you're swimming, be careful as well, as the potential for rip currents because of a strong swell coming in off of the ocean. And our potential there is for severe weather into the evening hours tonight. Those thunderstorms across the eastern high plains, or the western plains of the from Texas and into Oklahoma, the Panhandle, western Kansas, Nebraska, North and South Dakota, and then we're looking at eastern Montana, eastern Wyoming, eastern Colorado, and eastern New Mexico. So right on the spine of the plains here, we're going to be seeing those severe thunderstorms, and that's going to pertain large hail. Remember, I mentioned that blowing dust, so the dust storms will be possible because of the low rainfall amount, and those damaging winds will be up to 70 miles an hour. Tornadoes are not expected, but not possible as well. So we could see an isolated tornado as a possibility with some of these severe storms, but I expect any tornadoes to be short-lived and relatively weak with this activity. And again, we could see the same for tomorrow. The potential for large hail, damaging winds that can gust up to 70 miles an hour. Remember, low precipitation, so flash flooding we're not going to worry about, and the dust storms could be an issue as well. And we could also see the same across the upper Midwest on Monday. So on the holiday, we could see those severe thunderstorms could bring large hail, damaging wind, and gusts up to 70 miles an hour. But again, low precipitation, beautiful thunderstorms, very photogenic thunderstorms. So if you are a nature photographer, these are the types of storms that you want to get photographs of, so the storm chasers can collect a lot of data, because you can see the cloud formations are very photogenic, and you can see the mesos in these thunderstorms and the spinning wall clouds, and everything is just right there for you to see because it's high up in the atmosphere, so you're not being blocked by rain shafts or anything like that. So beautiful weather for storm chasers. And here we are as we take a look at the country for the Memorial Day weekend for your Sunday. So as you make it through the second day of this weekend, we're going to be seeing again that potential for those severe thunderstorms along the plains and over into the Pacific Northwest, and the northern Rockies can see those isolated thunderstorms and that heavy rain here along the mid-Atlantic and the Southeast. But everybody else is going to see beautiful weather, the Northeast, the upper Midwest, the Gulf Coast, Florida, and over into the Southwest and the West Coast. Beautiful weather for you guys there. And again, for your Memorial Day Monday, that much of the same. We're going to see the same weather pattern, those thunderstorms down across Texas. We're going to get a little break across the southern plains. Then we'll see another batch of potential thunderstorms over the central plains of Nebraska and Kansas. And then we'll see another area of some severe storms up across the upper Midwest, the northern plains, Montana, and into the Dakotas. We can see those severe thunderstorm potential for your Monday as well. And that is a look at your holiday weather forecast. My name is Mr. G. Thank you guys for watching me today. as we track that potential for that severe weather and our wet weather along the mid-Atlantic and East Coast as we're dealing with some heavy rainfall there. Have a good rest of your weekend, guys. I won't be here tomorrow because we have some things to do. And I will be here Monday with a weather forecast to get you through the upcoming work week. So have a good one. I will see you later. Bye-bye.